Hey y'all. I know I start the video off like that every single time, but I know it's been a minute. I wanted to come back and chit chat with you guys. This is a video that I decided to make because I just got back home from running errands, and I didn't have anything on my mind going when I left the house, but coming back, I don't know why I started thinking about just so many things that's been going on. And I have a question for y'all. How are you preparing to go into 2026? Now let me stop you, because I don't want you to think that this is a, ooh, get ready for 2026 year and all that kind of stuff. The typical content creator video about going into the new year. That's not what this is about. Part of it is about preparing for new seasons. Part of it is about being transparent. Part of it is about actually accepting some realizations. There's so many different pieces to this conversation that I want to have with you. So first question, why am I making this video? Well, I'm making this video because for some reason, driving back home from running errands, I just start reflecting. And there was nothing that I heard, because I was listening to Sirius XM, and there was nothing that I heard on the radio that made me think about it. I didn't pass anything on the street that prompted me to think about it. It was just, I believe it was divine that things just started coming across my mind. So what I want to say is, I am going to focus a lot on me. Why is that? I take better care of the people in my life than I take care of myself. There's a lot of things that I neglect, not because I have to, not because I have to, I'm not doing it for me because I have to do for somebody else. That's not the situation. I wasn't always like that. I used to be very attentive to my needs. But for some reason, when I think back on 2025, something happened. Something fell off. I don't know what it was. But I'm going to tell you something else I realized is I developed not going to say develop. Develop is not the right word. What should I say? I noticed some habits. I started procrastinating more. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I never procrastinated, but it was like really few and far in between. But this year, there's been like a huge span of time where I've procrastinated on doing some very important tasks. And I can't go into 2026 like that. So one of the things that I decided, I'm going to cleanse my house, because I noticed the procrastination. I also noticed being short-tempered. Like some days, y'all, it don't take much of anything to set me off. Like I get an attitude, or I get irritated, or I get impatient. And when I hindsight, like after the situation is past, I look and I ask myself, what the heck was that? Like, what was that all about? Like, really, what was upsetting to you that you had to react like that? And it's frustrating, because once I move past that situation and I start asking myself those questions, I'm now looking at myself like, girl, what's wrong with you? Like, what? We need to talk? Like, what's happening? So, like I said, the procrastination, being short-tempered, being impatient. Oh, I'm not even going to get started on the potty mouth. I'm not even going to get started on the potty mouth. I'm not going to get started. Because when I tell you, sailors would cover their ears. She been showing her butt 2025. And so I have to eliminate whatever is causing these character traits to rear their heads. And I'm a firm believer that if it's in you, it's going to come out you. I'm not saying I don't ever cuss or nothing like that, but the degree that I've seen these different behaviors, these different patterns show up is just, it's mind-blowing to me. Because it almost makes me feel like a different person, like a completely different person. And this person, I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't like her. And I don't want to be associated with that. And so I know that I have work to do, not just because it's going into 2026, because here's the other part of that. I am not a fan of making New Year's resolutions. Ooh, that water good. I'm not a fan of making New Year's resolutions. Because to me, New Year's resolutions, by anybody that I've known that has made them, are just empty promises. What I am a fan of and what I am a firm believer in, that you don't have to wait till New Year's to make a commitment to yourself or a commitment to something else. I believe that every day you wake up is a brand new opportunity for you to commit to something that you believe in. So I don't make New Year's resolutions because I resolve to a whole lot throughout the year. I commit to a whole lot throughout the year. Except 2025. she done fell off. And I want to use this new season as an opportunity to dedicate things to myself that will help me to find my way back to the person I love to be. So my commitment to myself from today, not just New Year's resolution, all that, I told you I don't believe in that. My commitment starting today, and I say today because I just went through this moment of self-reflection. Right now, from this moment forward, is to be kinder to myself. To allow myself grace. To allow myself moments of peace and quiet and silence without feeling guilty. To allow myself time to rest, but to stay motivated and committed to the things that I need to take care of. To prioritize my health and wellness, but to stay focused on my journey. There's something I want to do that I've never done. I hear people talk about it all the time, vision boards and stuff like that. But I want my vision board to be not focused on any one specific thing, but to be focused on me. So I am the one specific thing, but I am more than just a woman, a mother, a sister, a daughter. I am so many, I wear so many hats. I want my vision board to reflect the things that I love, to reflect the things that I desire, to reflect my goals. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this because I want to focus less on materialistic things than I want them to be more spiritual, mental, health related. I do have some financial goals and I do have some goals to acquire some materialistic things, but that's not my priority, right? So in order for me to be a better version of myself, I have to start at the core of the problem. And the core of the problem, every 6 months I have to see my doctor because I'm a bariatric patient. I know some of y'all getting tired of me saying that, but that's the reality of my life. And every 6 months, they take several tubes of blood because they got to check my vitamin level. They got to check, you know, they have to check in. And I can't go a year before I have another check. And one of the things that has remained consistent, regardless of how well I eat or anything like that, I'm taking my supplements, I'm taking my medication, is that my vitamin levels, they just stay low. And my iron stays low. And I am going to have to suck it up and completely revamp how I meal plan and meal prep, because I'm not getting enough of the green vegetables. I'm not getting enough of the nutrients in my food to help the supplements and the medication do what they need to do. Did I know that? Yeah. Yep. She knew that. Do I eat well? I eat, yeah, I think I do. But I also think that because of the fact that I can't eat a lot at one time, I try to get in my protein more than I focus on anything else. Because I don't want to have muscle breakdown. I'm like, if I had a fear or a concern, I should say, if I had a concern, my concern would be muscle loss. Because I don't want to be, you know, I'm 56 years old. I don't want to be 60 years old and I can't even carry my own weight because I'm not getting enough of what I need for my muscles to be strong. The other part of that is I say to myself, I'm tired, so I'm not going to walk. I'm tired, so I'm not going to ride my bike. I'm tired, so I'm not going to, you know, am I tired? Most of the time that I say I'm tired, yeah, I'm exhausted. I am friggin' exhausted. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm just worn out. Can I do something about it? Yeah, I can. My wellness coach, I have supplements from her that if I just, I just got off all these pills. And to have to take more pills in place of it in order to give my body what it needs is very difficult for me to mentally process. And the pills are so huge that it would be like taking 3 or 4 pills because I have to cut them. I can't swallow them whole. So that is a mental block that I've installed in my mind about these supplements. I could feel better. I could have more energy. My numbers would look better. But I have to mentally get past having to swallow these pills. I already have to take medicine. And then to have to voluntarily take more pills. You see these conversations I have to have with myself? I don't want to go into 2026 feeling this way. I want to go into 2026 having purposed myself to do certain things, knowing that that commitment is strong, and just doing it. Just doing the work. Just do the friggin' work, right? So that's the health part of it. I used to be a journal babe. Oh my goodness. I got so many journals, not journals, planners, well, journals too. But I have so many planners because I am a planner. I am a person who needs to know certain things down to the last itty bitty detail because it makes me feel better. Some people call it anal. Some people call it overzealous. Some people, you call it what you want. I call it my way of thinking. It makes me feel better. So what I did was, and I mean, I bought all sorts of planners and stuff too. So I got everything from the Erin Condren to planners out of Michael's. What's the one? It's this one right here. The one that used the Happy Planner. I got my 2026 one out of Ross. I mean, I love having a planner. And because of that, they all have these beautiful covers. But the covers have the years on them. And I was sitting here watching, because I've recently gotten back into, like over the last few days, I've gotten back into watching people stuff envelopes. If you don't know what that means, it's they people set goals, they set financial goals, they get money out of the bank, and then they have these envelopes with the different labels and stuff on them, and they put the money in the envelopes until they hit their goal, and then they do whatever it is that they were saving the money for. This process was started, and I knew when I started this video that I was not going to remember the guy's name, but I'm going to put it right here because he's very famous. People have been using this system forever. I know it's effective. I've used this cash envelope system before. I am definitely considering reincorporating that for some different projects that I want to prepare for. Is to me, it is a way to feel financially free, because the feeling that you experience when you complete that financial goal, when you stuff all the monies in the envelope and that number processes or it shows up on a calculator, let me just tell you something. It's an amazing feeling because you've finished something. You've completed something. And now you can move on, or you simultaneously are working on other things as well. Because I noticed that the content creators that I'm watching, they're all a part of this community, and they do what are called mini savings challenges. So they have a binder with the envelopes in there, and they all are different challenges. So you might have a $1 challenge, you might have, you know, they all, I've seen somebody has created a Uno savings challenge, and it has the Uno cards and everything. Somebody's created is Saveopoly, I think is what it called, and it looked like a Monopoly board, but you know, the challenges are on, you know, within the game board. I've seen so many creative ways to save, and I have some really small financial goals, but I also have some really large financial goals. And for me, I am hell bent, and I told my husband this, that I want to get to a point where the only thing that I have are living expenses outside of my car note. I only want to have living expenses. I don't want to be, you know, dealing with credit cards and all. When I get ready to take a trip, I want to do, you know, I want to go through this process that they're going through to save the money so that I can fully pay for a trip without having to use a credit card or a credit account or service or anything like that, and for it not to impact our household in a way that we feel it. And I know that there's a way to do that, and I am so excited right now. And I know I told my husband, I said, I know you think I'm weird, but this is the kind of stuff that really gets me motivated, gets my heart pumping, and gets me just really excited and ready to go, is thinking about not having things just kind of lingering over your head, and knowing that if something happened, you're okay. Because you know you're supposed to have, I forget what she called it, because it was something else she called it, said it was supposed to be 2 different types of savings. One is like a short savings or something, and that's where you have $1,000 in there, at least $1,000 in there. And then the other one is supposed to equate to, I think she said 6 months worth of your bills, like living expenses, not just your bills. So it would be like all of your living expenses, mortgage, car note, insurance, whatever, but also food, personal hygiene, you know, everything it takes for you to function in a month's time, whatever that dollar amount looks like, you're supposed to have 6 months worth of that. So With all of that being said, what I started doing was I done went in there, and I'm telling you, because the other thing that I'm doing is I believe in purging. Ever since I work with my wellness coach, that's been the one thing that's been consistently on my mind is how can I purge my space so that I feel like I have room to grow. And I have years and years and years and years worth of journals and planners and stuff like that. And what I want to do is use the material, because obviously, like, this one is from 2019. And I love the rose gold little spiral coil. I want to find a way to recycle this stuff because the artwork is beautiful. The artwork is just absolutely beautiful. And like this one has all kinds of pocket folders, you know, but it's coiled in. So to take the coil off and like repurpose, like how can I take this off without damaging it and to repurpose it? But like if you look at this one, I'm all the way to February, March. There's nothing in here. This is 2019, May, June. This is a planner that is mostly blank. And they have, in the planner community, they have stickers that you can buy to cover up, like August 2019. It would just say August with the, you know, Sunday through whatever the day of the week is. And so that's what I'm thinking about, like these that are completely blank like this, except for this part. And you got notes and stuff back here. For planners like this, how can I reuse this? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to throw stuff like this away because, and see, like this even have stickers. Like you pull the stickers off. Come with stickers. You see what I'm saying? I want to reuse this. This is almost completely empty with the exception, I think it was December. What month was that? Now, whatever month it was. I don't know what month that was. Anyway, but I guess my point is, this is kind of where my brain is now with kind of the I lost my train of thought. Purging is, you know, seeing what I can keep and seeing, you know, what truly needs to be gone. Because the Happy Planner, here's another one. This one has to-do lists and stuff. I bought these and never used them. Little pocket. And this is, I definitely want to use this one because this is house cleaning. And then here's a whole year's worth of exercise. Let me show you. So you got these are, you know, with the dots. You put the dates in yourself. But this is, you track your exercise. See? Your weekly food log, exercise log. Yeah, all of these pages are blank. I bought this stuff and never used it. And now in my mind, I'm thinking this is perfect because that's the thing. These are the things that are going through my head. It's like I don't have to go out and buy anything because I'm shopping my house, so to speak. And this is, you know, a to-do list. So in shopping my house, I ran across this stuff that, I mean, I already knew I wanted to go through my journals, but I ran across this stuff that I can use and don't have to go out and spend any money. Hold on, y'all. The camera's doing something weird. I'm back. I don't know what just happened, but my camera, when I started, had a full battery. But then all of a sudden, it made this little flash with this icon, and the battery is like almost completely dead. So I don't know what that was about. But anyway, my point being is that, you know, I have so much to go through. I got like about 4 stacks of stuff over there. I got this stack over here, and I've already gone through a couple of them. And on top of that, I don't know if you can see, but in that chair, let's see, right there, there's a like a little basket type thing. That's full of planner stickers that I've had for years. So I shouldn't have to buy no planner stickers or nothing in order for me to get through 2026, because unless I just want to you know, purchase to patronize or whatever, to get through 2026, because I have so much. I have some. I remember when I first started, one of the things, real big things, was like they're downloadable, so you would print them yourself, and they came with a template for you to cut, like if you have a Cricut, because I have a Cricut, for you to cut on your Cricut. So I'm gonna make a I have a to-do list for just some basic things that I need to take care of, but I am going to make a to-do list for myself, for things that I need to take care of for before the end of the year, before, not this year, the end of 2026. And the reason I'm going to do that is because some of that stuff is going to take it's going to take a little while. Like, say for example, one of the things I want to do, I have a Cricut. I don't want that to be a waste of money, because I not only have the Cricut machine, I also have the press. So like if I want to cut out Cricut designs and iron it on t-shirts and stuff, I have that. I want to teach myself, because I started using it and then I got a little intimidated by it. So I want to teach myself how to effectively use the Cricut. Like I want to be able to just say, oh, I have this idea, let me just sit down and this is what I want to do, because I want this to be an investment. You know what I'm saying? I bought it and I'm not using it. I've had it for a few years, but I want this to be an investment. I don't want to give it away to anybody. I don't want to sell it to anybody. I want to use it, because that's the whole point of me buying it, was to use it and to use it for business purposes. The other thing is, I need to figure out, and I need to make a decision one way or the other, what I'm going to do about the coaching. And I know that we've had this conversation before, and I was doing the whole, excuse me, to coach or not to coach, right? I went through all of that, and I started talking about most of the challenges that I dealt with had to do with time constraints and trying to get my coaching practice off the ground, or to launch it and have a full-time job, and you know, this, that, and the other, and we had the whole conversation. And so I want to say to you that it's really in my heart to do, but I don't know if it makes sense for me to do it. Why is that? Because I need to really weigh out figure out whether it makes sense or not, based on, what do they call it? Your return. So it's like, will the amount of time I put into this coaching practice yield a high return? At this stage in my life, unless I come up with a really solid plan, I'm not convinced that it would. But that makes me sad, because it's something I really want to do. So my wellness coach, she's been wanting me to meet with her. She's launched a new program, and I did go to her, you know, one of her challenges and everything, and I was listening to what she's doing now. And that's been another area of procrastination for me, because I know that working with her works for me. I know this. I don't doubt that in any way. I truly believe that regardless of what type of program she launches, is going to benefit me. And the reason I feel that way is because she and I are a perfect fit for each other. We're a perfect fit. For so many different reasons and on so many different levels. I've never in my entire life met somebody that gets me the way that she does. And as much as I love my husband, I'm sorry, not even as well as my husband does. She is the one person that I've ever met in my 56 years of existing that sometimes I don't even have to say anything, and she understands. She knows what to say. She knows what I'm thinking. She knows how to help me get my butt in gear. It's like she knows the way to motivate me, even when I feel like I can't be motivated. And she helps me to, in the process of going through working with her initially, one of the things that I walked away with was learning to reframe your thinking and reframe your conversation, because words can cause you to sabotage yourself and you don't even realize it. And I got very irritated with her when, one of the things that I had to do was to write out, things that I wanted. And she kept coming back and saying, don't use that word. Don't use that word. Don't use that word. And I was sitting there like, well, what am I supposed to use? What word am I supposed to use? I don't understand. And then she said, she'll make a suggestion, or she'll say, well, what do you mean when you say this? And I'll explain it to her. And then she said, okay, so instead of saying this, then say this. And it was not a painful process, but it was really uncomfortable, because I felt like she was like slapping me on the hand, so to speak. But by the time I finished, and I was very irritated. I had so many questions, and I know they came across as aggressive. And she would say to me, I'm sorry, love, I don't mean any harm. I'm asking questions and I'm saying things to you because I need to understand what you're thinking. And when she said those words to me, in my mind, I'm like, oh, I feel bad now, because I really believe, knowing her personality, she didn't mean any harm. But I took it that way. Y'all understand what I'm saying? You listening to what I'm saying, and this is like what I mentioned earlier about, short-tempered and things like that, and things irritating me, like at the drop of a hat without any effort. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I know she don't mean me any harm. But I took it very personal when all she was trying to do was show me a better way of speaking to myself, so that everything that I desired could come to me. All she was trying to do is walk me down the path of speaking my desires into fruition. And I was irritated at her trying to help me steer. It felt like she was trying to sit in my lap and drive the car with me, instead of just telling me where to turn. And I know that's a weird analogy, but that's how I felt. And again, hindsight, I'm going, girl, what's wrong with you? Because she cares for you. You know that she cares about your well-being. She cares about your success. She cares about the things that you desire, and she does not want to do anything except help you to achieve and acquire and accomplish those things. So why you bugging? Why is you bugging? She's not being any kind of, like, she's not being negative or critical in that way. So these are the things that I've just been thinking about. And so working on trying to figure out what's going to happen with these planners, my journals. I have so many journals. I have journals that I started writing in, like, say for example, I have one where I was putting like my YouTube content, and I'm going to take that one and I'm just going to start, continue to use that one for YouTube content, because that's all that's in there. I have journals where I was actually writing about how I felt and what I was thinking, and so I'm going to continue using those journals for that. And the journals that I haven't started using yet, I'm going to put those in a special place so I know that those are empty and they haven't been used yet, because I don't want to get them mixed up with anything. So this is how I'm preparing for 2026, because I need to be laser focused on whatever commitments that I make to myself. I need to be laser focused on getting rest, and not, because a lot of people confuse sleep with rest. I get sleep, but I don't rest. I can tell the difference when I get sleep, but I don't rest as often as I should, or I don't get as much rest as I should. It's not that I don't rest at all. It's just that I need to balance that out. I need to figure out a way that when I sleep, I'm actually also resting. I don't know what that looks like yet. I don't know what the contributing factors to getting the rest, what they look like yet. I know that one of the things that will facilitate me getting rest is coming up with a routine. When I had my personal care line, I was go. But when I lay down, that was it. One of the things that I noticed is that when I stopped that part of my business, I started feeling like I wasn't doing anything. Even if I was doing a lot. I started feeling like I wasn't accomplishing anything, because I wasn't as busy as I am used to being. For those of y'all who don't know me very well, I have had a business in one way, shape, form, or fashion since I was in my senior year of high school. My senior year of high school is also when I started my first job. So my businesses have always been for profit. I started in the nonprofit sector in 1998. And I created the bones for my first nonprofit organization called New Power Houston. And that organization came into fruition January 1st, 1999. When I stopped being an entity in the nonprofit sector, I became a consultant in the nonprofit sector for those who wanted to start their nonprofit organization, their charitable organizations, etc. So yeah. And I've always been busy prior to the pandemic, but much closer to my kids being in elementary, middle school, high school. I had my nonprofit organization, I had my job, I had my kids, I had my for-profit business, and I was networking. So my organization held events where I constantly had to prepare for those. I had to train volunteers and things like that to work with my organization. I was constantly doing research about what was needed in the community. And then at some point I started college because I decided I wanted to get my degree, and eventually graduated with my bachelor's in psychology. And my area of focus for my degree was targeting seniors, gerontology. And one of the reasons is because my father was elderly and he was ailing, and so I was trying to provide services in, kind of like in his honor, for seniors in my community. And prior to that, the focus was on latchkey kids because me and my siblings were latchkey, which basically meant that my father worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs, and we were, at home, just responsible for, doing what we were supposed to do, going to school, going our after school activities, getting our homework done, getting our chores done and things like that. So there was not an adult home, but we were responsible enough to make sure we did what we needed to do. And I understood what that meant. And so when I started my organization and focused on latchkey kids, the idea or the concept was to provide services that I know they needed. Lunch, movie night, activities on the weekends when their parents had to work, tutoring when they had to deal with those standardized tests, teaching them about safety. We had a fair where the police came out, fire department, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. We did the fingerprint kits where they had their fingerprints, their pictures, a description, and this is all in an effort so that those children understood how to be safe, how to be prepared and focused in the absence of their parents. And so there's just a lot of things that I used to get into. And so people used to always say, girl, where do you even find it? Forget about the time. Where do you find the energy? I loved it. I loved staying busy. I loved the idea of always having something to do. And my kids was always in tow, so they understood being charitable and giving back and things like that. And so when I got to a point when I launched T.H. Green and Company, and there was just, business consulting, nonprofit consulting, just a lot of different aspects of business itself that I loved, that I wanted to help other people who appreciated any knowledge or understanding that I had about what it meant to be a small business owner. And so then I got into my personal care line, which wasn't the first time, because I had another business called Not So Common Sense. And these were custom blended fragrances that I created and made candles and all sorts of things out of. And that business took off, and it was just a lot. And my kids were in elementary school, so it was too much for me to keep up with, and I eventually had to shut it down. And so then here we are, fast forward years later, when my kids are adults. I launched Monet, which is after my daughter's name, with the same thought process. I love custom blending fragrances according to people's personalities and the things that they liked. And again, the business took off. But then my daughter moved out. She got a job outside of home because she was working for me full time. And I couldn't keep up. There was no way for me to do this business, because you're talking about blending the scents. Then you had to blend the scents into the different bases, which was the lotion and the bubble bath and the body wash and the this and the that and the butter and the blending the butter and packaging and shipping. And then labels had to be made. The books had to be kept. The supplies had to be ordered. And it was just too much for one person. So I had to make the conscious effort to shut that part of my business down. It's not permanently gone, because anytime I decide that I am going to relaunch that part of my business, everything is still in place. My sales tax permit, I still have all of my designs, I still have all my recipes for my fragrances and everything like that. I have everything I need to relaunch that business, and I kept it that way in the event that my daughter, because that was supposed to be a legacy business. Well, my company is supposed to be a legacy company anyway, to go to my children. But that part of the business was specifically designed for her to take over. And that's not what she's interested in. But at any time she decides that she wants to, to relaunch the business and she run it on her own, it'll be structured in a way that she can do that. So anyway, why did I say all of that? I said all of that because I think that's where the being complacent, being, procrastinating and things like that came in, because I was at a point of being extremely busy all the time and loving it, to now I'm not as busy, and I eventually got less and less busy. And then I guess my body started kind of reacting to that. And so then it was, oh, I don't feel like doing nothing today. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. And it just got easier and easier for me to decide not to do certain things, even though they should have been priority. So going into 2026, that's why I was saying I'm prioritizing myself, because being busy like that and really feeling successful and feeling accomplished and feeling satisfied that you know, the creative side of myself was being fed. And that's the part of myself, or that's the side of myself that's the most alive. I love when I create, whether it's writing, whether it's singing, whether it was at some point y'all know I was classically trained playing the piano. I'm even considering getting back into just having a keyboard to kind of tinker on. Not so much create music, but I love music. I love things that make me feel. And being creative makes me feel. And so this is what I want to do for myself, because I think that when I feel like the perfect version of who I want to be, and I know some people say that, well, there's no perfection. In my mind, there was a perfect version of myself, and I want to get back to that. But when I feel like the perfect version of myself, I am extremely happy. There's not much that can bring me down. There's not much that can force me into a space that makes me feel sad. Okay, I am back. Basically, the camera cut off because it overheated. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up. So that's all I was just saying, is that I want to, you know, focus more on making some changes, you know, for myself, and treating myself better, and doing more for myself, and, you know, things like that. So question I have for you is, how are you preparing to enter 2026? What are some of the things that you want to prepare yourself to start doing, to stop doing, to focus on? Like, put some comments down in the comment section about some of the things that you, not New Year's resolutions. These are long-term, short-term goals. These are changes of habit, changes in habit. These are things that you typically wouldn't, not exercise. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Not exercising. You know, we all know we need to move. Those are more like New Year's resolutions, you know. But just, you know, name some things that you feel like will be beneficial for you to start doing from today, or you want to start in the new year, whatever you want to do. But let me know what you think. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, I do have a membership where I have some podcasts on my channel, and I'm going to be, when I start getting members, my husband's the only one that's a member. So, but when I start getting members or people who are interested in my membership, I'm going to be adding to those podcasts. And the podcast is called She Thoughts. And it's basically things that go through my mind about either stuff that happens day to day, business related, relationships, mental health, things I'm just curious about, or things that I might have become aware of or come in contact with. And it's just me letting you know what I think about it, and try to get you to engage in this conversation about my thoughts. Okay? So, but thank you so much, y'all, for joining me on this video. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you to those who have been rocking with me. And I hope to see you all in the new year. Happy holidays.
If you're not already a member of the Fetch fam, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and download that app, scan my QR code, and get to scanning those receipts. You might as well take advantage of it. You're already spending the money. The receipts translates into points, the points translates into cash, and you can redeem that cash via store card or cash card, or you can donate to charity. Well, all right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, but you know we don't do so without saying, love yourself, love somebody else, and until next time, y'all take care. Bye.